And we hope you enjoy this evening's game against the Seattle Mariners.
Let's go. Rock on.
That sweep would be nice as we open up a 4-game series here tonight from Progressive Field, home of the Cleveland Indians, the best home team since the start of the second half last year. They have been fantastic in their home digs. The sun is out. It's a little cool, a little breezy, but we've got Mariners baseball on Root Sports for you, taking on Michael Brantley and the Cleveland Indians. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Mike Flowers, our entire Root Sports crew. You're going to get this one going tonight as we take a look at the Mariners lineup.
And you can see that D. Gordon is going to lead things off. D leads the American League with 9 stolen bases. Kyle Seager hitting 5th in the lineup. He is a career .360 hitter in this ballpark. Mitch Haniger, he's 2nd in the American League with 24 RBIs. And it's nice to see Ryan Healy back in the lineup. He will round out the 9 for the Mariners. Mariners starting lineup brought to you by Jack in the Box. And for Clevenger, off to a great start. 2-0 record, a 1.75 ERA and 25 2/3. Just 17 strikeouts, but opponents hitting only .209 against Clevenger.
Clevenger coming off as good of a start as you can probably have. Complete game shutout at Baltimore. Only 2 hits in that contest. It's a swing and strike from D. Gordon.
A pretty good fastball, 92 to 94 miles an hour with some sink to it. He likes to pitch down at the bottom of the strike zone. Slider and changeup to go with an occasional curveball.
Out to right center field, up with the breeze. Brandon Geyer in right field for the Indians tonight. There's that number 1. Now for Clevenger, something to keep an eye on here in the first inning. Mike, through 4 starts, he has not allowed a hit in the first inning.
Now that's unusual. It's amazing, really. One of the other things to keep an eye on is he throws a lot of first pitch strikes. Right around 70% of the time he will throw a strike on the first pitch. So constantly working ahead of hitters. Another reason why his ERA is at a 1.75.
Segura looking at ball 1. Well, the Mariners coming off a series win in Arlington, a series win taking 2 games out of 3 in Chicago. For the Mariners, this is their 2nd road trip, and both have been 3 city trips. Mariners eager to get back home at the end of this road trip, a day off, and then the A's coming to town. Into right field. Will it stay fair? It's a foul ball. Segura behind 1-2.
One of the rare times in the lineup today there's only 1 hitter that has faced Clevenger, and that is Ryan Healy, who's hitting 9th. First time through the lineup. Guys getting their first look at Clevenger.
Line drive, and Lindor able to keep his feet. There's that number 2.
Solid defensive glove. We'll take a look at the rest of these. Michael Brantley back in the lineup. He did not play in Seattle, but he'll be in left field today. Francisco Lindor, one of the fine young shortstops in the American League, and Yan Gomes will do the catching this evening. I talked about it in his last outing. He really pitched well against Baltimore. 9 innings, just 2 hits. Did not allow a run. A couple of walks in that outing. Only 3 strikeouts.
2 quick outs for Cano. Robbie in his career a .333 hitter against Cleveland.
I would think that's a pretty good sample size.
I would think so. Look at the numbers here. Nearly 90 games. .40 of them here in Cleveland. Cano behind. Check swing he goes, and through 5 starts, Clevenger has not allowed a hit in the first inning. When we come back, Paxton up on the mound. Mariners and the Indians scoreless. against the Indians. Mike taking on an Indians lineup that at times this year has had a hard time scoring some runs.
Yeah, they've really struggled. They are 14th in hitting in the American League, just a .218 batting average for the Indians. Jose Ramirez is going to hit third in the lineup. He leads the team with 7 home runs. Michael Brantley hitting 5th in the lineup, .315 batting average for him. And Rajay Davis hitting 9th in the lineup. But Paxton will have to be careful with him. .385 with a home run against Paxton in his career. And for James, this will be his 6th start. You can see his ERA in 25 2/3. He has 34 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .250 against James.
His first pitch to Lindor zips in for a strike.
Paxton average fastball this year 95 miles an hour. Slider, curveball to go with it. Occasional changeup.
Well, this is no surprise talking about his fastball. It is the highest velocity of any left-handed starting pitcher in the game right now. Strike 3 call. That did not take long. Lindor making his way back to the dugout.
Take a look at the defense that is playing behind him. Ben Gamble will get the start in left field, and Ryan Healy, welcome back. It's good to have him in the lineup. He is hitting 9th and playing first base. Mike Zunino will do the catching. For James in his last outing, had some struggles, just 4 innings, 5 earned runs. Was against the Rangers. You can see the 3 walks and struggling with his command. That was not the case here. 3 quick strikes to pick up a strikeout to start the game.
Same story to Kipnis.
Mentioned that the Indians have struggled this year, hitting 14th in the American League and just a .218 batting average for them. They score the majority of their runs by hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Also was surprised to see that they're running, trying to make things happen. 2nd in stolen bases in the American League. 5th in home runs as a team.
2-2.
And James with a good fastball here in the first inning. 95 miles an hour on the outside corner.
That time at 97 as he gets up above the zone. For whatever reason this year, Mike, lefties are having more success against Paxton than last year. They hit under 200 against James. This year they're batting exactly 400. We talked to Scott Service about it today before the game. Only 25 at bats, to be fair. It is still early, and that's what Scott chalked it up to.
Yeah, and I think maybe a couple of command issues in some of the starts that he's had. We've talked about that too in his first outing and in his last. Falling behind hitters, they're eventually going to catch up to the fastball, and it doesn't matter if they're left or right. You have to be able to work ahead in counts. And I think as he moves forward, we're going to see those numbers change. It was an issue for him a couple of years ago, but after he changed the arm angle, he was much better last year.
1-out walk. That brings up Jose Ramirez. Already 7 home runs for Ramirez this year. Nearly a third of his hits.
Two for 8 against Paxton in his career. He's a dangerous hitter, as Aaron mentioned. 7 home runs this year.
And in an era of strikeouts, Ramirez does not strike out often at all. Started last year at third base in the All-Star game for the American League. And Paxton ahead 0-2. Now the Indians playing last night here at home. This is part of a very lengthy, what will turn out to be an 11-game homestand because of a doubleheader. Coming off a 2-game series split against the Cubs at home.
Ramirez, a switch hitter, hitting .280 as a right-handed hitter, .259 left-handed.
He bats with Kipnis at first, 1 out.
He's been able to handle him, though. 0 for 12 against the Mariners this year.
I see the slider there from James. We talked to James about the increased slider usage this season, and aside from it being a very effective pitch for him, one thing that he cited was his inability to really command his curveball this year and throw it like he would want to, so it has opened up the door to throw more sliders. Strike 3 call, 96, second punch out both times with the bat on the shoulder.
It's pretty drastic too, Aaron. When you look at the slider and how much more he's using it. Last year it was 10% of the time. This year he's at 21%. This fastball right down the middle. I thought it was interesting. Scott Service talking about it today with Paxton, and everybody knows about his fastball, but he wanted him to use his curveball a little bit more early in counts, just to give him something else to think about, hopefully get them off of the fastball. Opponents this year hitting .224 against his fastball, but he's given up 3 home runs. That was not a problem for him last year, keeping the ball in the ballpark. Total of 4 home runs, the other one off of the curveball.
0-2 on Encarnacion. Paxton working around a 1-out walk. Is 0-2. Zunino and Healy over for a look. This is out of play. Now 20 pitches for James in the first inning.
There's also been a bit of an issue for him. His pitch count. 96 pitches in his last outing to go 4 innings.
It seems like, and especially in the first, Mike, when he's had the rougher outings, it seems like the pitch count is compounded very early on him. Of course, you remember his first start of the season against the Indians. The first inning, unfortunately for James, took a long time.
Yeah, you're right. 104 pitches, and now when he went 4 2/3. But you can take a look at the pitches in his last start and the amount of foul balls. So he's trying to put them away, maybe missing location at times, but they're fouling pitches off, keeping at bats alive and adding to his pitch count.
By the way, looking back in the scorebook, was a 29 pitch first inning against the Indians back on game 2 of the year. The 2-2. Paxton strikes out the side of the first and gets Encarnacion flailing after it, and Kipnis after the walk is left stranded. Court is in session this Tuesday when King Felix does battle with the A's at 7:10. Tickets are only $25 and include the new King's Court t-shirt to cheer on Felix and the Mariners by picking up your tickets now at mariners.com/Felix. Good stuff yesterday from the King, Mike.
Yeah, it was great to see. That's 3 outings in a row for him. He's really starting to progress and pitch well. Needed him to throw the ball well yesterday, and he did. A little bit unlucky, I thought. First pitch fastball of the game gets hit out of the ballpark, and then some broken bat hits there in the first to give up the second run. But overall, I really thought he threw the ball well. Mixed it up great.
What a trip it's been for Nelson Cruz. 10 for 27. Half of those hits for extra bases. He leads it off with the second. And when you think about a guy, Mike, who is a 40 home run hitter year in and year out, you don't think about a guy who can do what Nelson did yesterday, which was with 2 strikes against him, finding an open space on the infield, picking up some big time RBIs without having to put the ball to the fence.
Yeah, had a base hit into right field and then another base hit on a ground ball back up the middle. You know, you look at his career with the Mariners. Yes, he hits a lot of home runs. He's averaging 40 home runs a year, over 100 RBIs, but he also hits 280, 290.
Holds back, takes a fastball outside, 1-2. Pulls this curveball foul, still a ball and 2 strikes. Now this series featuring 2 of the biggest home run hitters since 2010. Edwin Encarnacion at 274. Nelson Cruz just a couple right behind him, tied with Stanton and Jose Bautista.
Yesterday we were having a conversation about players progressing in timelines and how long it takes for some of them. You look at Clevenger, he's another one too. You go back to 2016, his ground ball rate was at 37%. This year it has really climbed, and I think that that's one of the biggest things when you find a pitch that'll work for you. And hit this year has clearly been his changeup. His changeup has been tough to hit.
This is skied out to left by the big wall of the shadows. Brantley has room for out number 1.
He's hitting .067 against his changeup. His ground ball percentage on the changeup at 83%.
Now if you look at his off-speed repertoire, look at the changeup, the slider, the curveball for Clevenger. Right-handed hitters have all of 2 hits off the off-speed stuff of Clevenger through the first 4 starts.
It's amazing, and the batting averages certainly reflect that. The struggles that people have, but the majority of those pitches, again, he will keep on the ground. His curveball also a very good ground ball pitch at 63%. It's difficult when you're trying to hit, and the opposing pitcher has a number of weapons that he can go to. You can't really take anything away from him. I think the only option you have is to hope early in the count you get a pitch that's up in the zone. Look at the curveball.
It just catches the corner, 1-1. Shift is on for Seager.
QC tracer that last curveball. It was a strike, so Kyle catches a break. As a player, typically you'll find certain pitchers that you hit well or certain ballparks that you hit well in, and for Kyle, this is one of them. A .360 hitter at Progressive Field in his career.
That spans 22 games and an on-base percentage of nearly .410. The 2-2. Fouls off a high fastball. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And for Cruz, it was a 7-pitch at bat to begin the inning. This will be pitch number 8 now to Seager. Pitch number 7, I beg your pardon. Full count now. over to the point of the shift, taken there by Kipnis. There's sound number 2. And made Clevenger work for it. And steps Mitch Haniger. You know, when Mitch was on yesterday with the folks in the studio over at MLB Network, they asked him, what's the one thing that Edgar Martinez preaches more than anything else? I was very interested in hearing the response to. And Mitch said preparation, which, Mike, as a former teammate of Edgar's, I don't think probably surprises you much at all.
The most prepared hitter I've ever been around is Edgar Martinez. And it's interesting because some people were asking Scott Service before the game about Mitch and what the one thing that he likes the most about him, and that's what he mentioned. Not that he's just a good player and can do everything as far as quality fielder, runs well, strong throwing arm, and obviously can hit and hit for power, but the way that he prepares every single day.
A road trip for Haniger. So 2 guys kind of cut from the same cloth with Haniger and Edgar Martinez. The 1-2. Second strikeout for Clevenger. Curveball against Haniger. The side retired in order for the second straight inning. Out the side.
Or James, take a look at our Primera Supermo. There's a strikeout swing, 3 strikeouts, 2 of them looking, that one swinging. Also had a walk. Good fastball so far. He's been 95 plus in the first inning. That's always a good sign for James.
Facing Michael Brantley to begin the bottom of the second. Well, the Mariners open up the season at home against the Indians. Brantley was still on the disabled list, recovering from offseason ankle surgery rather. He slaps this into left. Taken there by Gamble on a line, 1 out. A quick start for James here in the second, now facing Yan Gomes, the catcher.
Gomes, 226 batting average, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. It's been a good road trip for the Mariners. Winning the series in Texas and Chicago.
And the rotation's got a little bit of momentum with it now.
They do. Yeah, it's good to see, and you'd like to see him build off of that. Marco Gonzalez threw the ball well his last time out. We already mentioned Felix pitched yesterday, so you'd like to see James bounce back. He typically will do that. And the bullpen has been outstanding.
Quick work that time of Gomes climbing the ladder at 96, and Paxton with 4 strikeouts. Join us at Safeco Field on May the 4th as we celebrate Star Wars night with nearly 70 Star Wars characters, a sneak peek of the new Solo movie, and a Han Solo inspired Kyle Seeger bobblehead for the first 20,000 fans. Just head on over to Mariners.com for tickets. And there's been a first pitch strike to all but 1 hitter so far for Paxton.
And that's something that he needed to do. Scott Service talked about that. Haven't quite seen the curveball early in the count yet. It's been primarily the fastball.
Shift on, and it sneaks past Seager. Alonso laid on a 97-mile-an-hour heater and gets a base hit out of it.
Yeah, James is going to jam him with the fastball right off of the label. Kyle Seager, the only one on the left side of the infield, not able to get to it.
A 2-out single by Alonso. Here's Brandon Guyer, the right fielder. Paxton behind now, 2-0.
Look at the Indians, 218 as a team this year, hitting just 209 against left-handed pitching. So you would think if James is able to command the strike zone, this would be a good matchup for him, but falling behind here.
Would have liked that one. Rajai Davis on deck, number 9 hitter, center fielder for the Indians. Now gets it back to make it 3-1. Two on. Close pitch. Second walk for Paxton.
His first outing of the year was against Cleveland. Gave up 6 earned runs, had 4 walks in that outing, gave up a couple of home runs. I mentioned Davis has hit Paxton well, 285 hitter with a home run.
Check swing. Zunino packs it. It's the catcher, Mike Zunino, throws to first. My goodness, what a play. About as good as it gets. Not much time with Davis running. Rajai out to end the inning. Use your Mariners ticket to ride Link Light Rail to and from the game through June 3rd. You can learn more by going to soundtransit.org. Top of the order coming up. First we'll see Zunino, Gamble, and Healy. Quick ground ball gets out to Ramirez in a hurry. And there's out number one. What do you make of this delivery from Clevenger, especially with the leg kick?
It's unique, and I think it's deceptive. If you're a hitter, first of all, long legs, long arms, and you'll see when he starts to get set, when he's pitching out of the windup, but you'll see him and that leg, and it's a high knee kick. It's quick right there, and then he kind of slows down and glides towards the plate. So I think there could be some timing issues, especially if you haven't faced him before. You watch him again. High leg kick, and it's quick right at the end, right there, and then he glides. Good curveball. With some bite to it.
Gamble gets ahead 2-0. This is socked out to left center. Davis back in front of the track on number 2. Now, some exciting times here in Cleveland for a variety of reasons. The Indians in first place. LeBron with the block and the 3 last night to win it. The city's all abuzz, and of course the annual rite of passage. The Browns have the number 1 pick tonight.
It was busy last night when we got into town. I was trying to figure out why, Aaron. A lot going on.
I would say so. Now, good to see Ryan Healy back in the box. As he told Jen, a little bit of a second opening day. Goes after the first pitch, up the middle and into center field. Nice start for Ryan Healy.
First hit for the Mariners, being aggressive on the fastball. I mentioned it before he went on the disabled list. He was really swinging the bat well. Just take a look at this base hit. One of the reasons why Scott Service kept him back for a couple of extra rehab starts, getting some more ABs to make sure his timing was right, and that worked out well.
Now the top of the order. 2 outs, a man aboard. Here is D. Gordon. Rough series in Chicago for D1 for 12. Road trip began well for Gordon, though, in Texas. Slicing out to left center. Brantley moving back on it. He can't get it. Neither can Davis. Healy's making his way to third, being waved in. Ryan Healy to the plate. No throw coming. It's an RBI triple for D. Gordon, and the Mariners strike first to come to the third.
The outfielder's playing shallow. A pretty good pitch that he has down and away. Probably the bottom of the strike zone. Drives it all the way out to the warning track. CD. Helmet flying, triple. Thought he was going to slide too late. Right over the top of the base. Great speed.
Segura hits this breaking ball that hangs over the plate into left field. D scores easily. Segura chugging for second. Throw is wide. And it's 2-0 Mariners. RBI double, Gene Segura.
Well, the Mariners making adjustments second time through the lineup. They're being aggressive. And Gene typically is aggressive. He's ready to hit. Now's a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. really swung the bat well this year with runners in scoring position. Coming in today, he was hitting .423 with runners in scoring position.
2 runs in. Here's Cano. He goes after the first pitch.
Yeah, they're being aggressive.
I might wonder about that sometimes because it's easy for us to say, oh, well, second time through the order, right? Third time through the order. That's why this pitcher's struggling. But if you haven't seen a pitcher much at all, as you mentioned earlier, not many guys have seen Clevenger. How big of a difference is that first time compared to the second time?
I think it's big because you have to be able to pick up the release point. And although they will watch the video and they'll read the reports on him, until you stand in that batter's box and you see the delivery and see the ball come out of his hand, it's difficult. And there's another base hit.
Now Segura pedals quickly to third base. He scores with ease. Cano drives in a run, the third of the inning for the Mariners, all coming with 2 outs.
The thing that I really like, he hit a pretty good pitch, but you look at Segura and then that swing right there by Robinson Cano. They both ended up getting pitches that were in the middle of the plate and elevated a little bit. That fastball is belt high. It's something that Robbie has done all year, is use the entire field, line drive into left field. I think it's a key with Clevenger. We talked about how he wants to keep the ball on the ground. But I think more than anything, when you watch him, it's important for him to work ahead so that he can get to those off-speed pitches, Aaron, that we were talking about, where hitters aren't doing anything with it. So if he throws it early in the count, typically it's going to be more middle of the plate. Don't take it, get ready to hit, and that's exactly what they're doing. Always coming with 2 outs. Ryan Healy getting it started with a base hit up the middle.
Now facing Nelson Cruz. Now 0-1.
And Nelson being aggressive too, going after the first pitch. Quality of that pitch was a little bit better. It was on the corner at the knees. Another breaking ball. So that run of base hits, 7 pitches, 4 base hits for the Mariners, to give you an idea how aggressive they have been, and it's paid off. One of the other things, 4-game series that'll be important in this series is both clubs have quality bullpens. It will be important to have a lead after the 6th inning.
Ramirez back a step over to Kipnis at the force on Cano. That ends the top of the 3rd, but it's a 3-run inning for the Mariners as they've got into Clevenger. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Virginia Mason Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. Now the sun is out here in Cleveland as we open up a 4-game series. Francisco Lindor to begin things. Looks at first pitch, strike of the knees from James Paxton. Well, for Lindor, what a thrill it was to play in his homeland of Puerto Rico not long ago. The Indians and the Twins, that 2-game series in Puerto Rico. Lindor homering in that game. A pick by Robbie. 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
It was not an easy play by Cano. He just makes it look easy. He's really played well in the field. James will get a new baseball.
There's Kipnis.
Now Robbie has not made an error this year. We've talked about how he's moving around much better, but I think the one thing is you've never been able to question his hands and how well he's been able to field. This year I think he's showing more range because he's healthy. That makes sense.
I still can't get over the double play that he helped turn yesterday on a very cold day to double up Tim Anderson, a pretty critical point in the game as well.
How quick he ended up getting rid of the ball. Well, we talked about his hands, and here we go. And you can see him give ground. He spins around like that just to give himself a little bit of ground and soften the ball. It was a pretty hard line drive, but it softens it as it goes into his glove, and he's able to pick it cleanly. See him a little back step right there, gives himself a little bit of ground on a missile. And he makes it look easy, and there's a lot of second base, and that would just eat him up.
This dunks into shallow center field in front of D. Gordon. It's one out single from Kipnis, who's aboard for the second time. One out for Ramirez. I think I could pull off the Cano beard, Mike, with the straight edge there. Obviously, I wouldn't shave for months.
I do have a Sharpie. I can help you out.
Here's Ramirez. He looks at ball one. Let's bring Mike out. That was right there, rule ball 2.
It's one of the things that Mike Zunino does so well. We talk about him framing the ball, his ability to throw, the power that he has in his bat, but he takes charge of the game, and when he sees something, he doesn't wait. He will go directly out to the mound, especially with the starters, to try to get them back in line.
Pop back and foul, 2-1. Healy and Cano right side of the infield. Ryan's got it. 2 outs. You know, when talking about Daniel Vogelbach and the roster move today, Daniel going down to AAA, one thing that Scott mentioned today, and Jerry has talked about this as well, how pleased they have been with Vogelbach's improved dedication and skill set at first base defensively.
I thought Scott had a lot of compliments for Daniel and the way that he played and the way that he came into spring training, the way he was able to make the club and the way that he played. I think, you know, one of the questions to Scott about it is now that Daniel has been sent out, is if the time comes and you have to bring him back or you need to bring him back, how do you feel about that? And he had no problems with it at all. This came a situation where the club where they didn't have the room anymore, and Healy's going to play the bulk of the time. But overall, I thought that he praised Daniel with the hard work that he's put in.
Encarnacion at the plate with 2 outs and a man aboard. Scott said he asked Daniel what he learned during his stint with the big leagues this year. And Ryan said that he has learned that he needs to continue to use the entire field. Scott mentioning that he probably got a little pulled happy at times.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I think it was one of those things of when Scott was talking about that, Aaron, is he was talking about for Daniel, because he'd been aggressive and then all of a sudden he starts getting counts in his favor was the big key to it, that you still can't try to pull the ball all the time because you're in a 2-0, 3-1 count. Sometimes at this level they're still going to pitch you away and use the entire field, which he's capable of doing.
Another strikeout for James Paxton. This time he steers Encarnacion off at 97. 5 punch-outs through 3 innings for James. Thank you, Angie. Here's Seager. Leads off the Mariners' 4th inning, looking at ball 1. Seager an 8-pitch out his last time up.
And being aggressive again on a fastball that was up out over the plate, just missed it.
The 2-1. This is socked into center. Davis charges. Can't make the catch. Out of his glove. Seager leadoff single.
The last 3 or 4 games, Kyle has really been swinging the bat much better. Solid line drive into center field. Again, another aggressive at bat by the Mariners. You take a look at Rajay Davis in center field trying to make the catch off the heel of his glove. A late break on it. Kyle will take the hit.
Seager on base for Mitch Haniger. Mitch struck out on a Clevenger curveball to end the second. Opponent's hitting under 200 against that pitch so far this season. Now ahead 2-0.
Ended up striking him out on the curveball his first time up. Took a lot off of it too. A slower curveball.
Pole just foul over by third. 2-1. Mike, you've talked about how close these games were. The first time these two teams met, Mariners taking 2 out of 3.
All of them one-run games.
Well, the Mariners, you don't like to see breaks coming this way, but tough news for Terry Francona with the Mariners catching a break. Andrew Miller placed on the disabled list, injured his hamstring on a pitch last night. Was able to walk off the field on his own, but on the 10-day DL now. And look at Miller, one of the most dangerous relievers in either the American League or the National League.
And especially when you consider it's a 4-game series, and if Terry Francona is not able to go to Miller, which he would a lot, my bet would be that Robinson, Cano, Kyle Seager would probably see him just about every day. And if you look at the numbers, Cano hitting 176, Nelson Cruz 143, and Kyle 167 in their careers against Miller. That's a big break for the Mariners.
That's huge.
Probably see former Mariner Tyler Olson, the other left-hander, out in the bullpen, see him a number of times. But Miller, one of the best in the business, and he's not available.
Olson worked last night in game 2 against the Cubs. Quick look over to Seager. He's safe. That was close.
Looked like Kyle was leaning a little bit. 3-2 count. Maybe he was going to take off. A late break back to the base. Alonso puts the tag on him.
Here comes the payoff. There goes Seager. Ramirez, a low pick, only play on to first with Seager taken off early. One out, a man in scoring position.
I don't think that's an area where we're sending Kyle to necessarily steal the base. 3-2 count. They send the runner on it, and really what it is Scott Service has a lot of confidence that Haniger is going to put a strike in play. That he's not going to take strike 3 and give them a chance to throw Kyle out. That he's going to put the ball in play somewhere, and that kept them from hitting into a double play. Mariners so far 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position. And they've really done well this year as a team. Mike hit the ball hard his first time. It was right at the third baseman.
Looks at a slow curve up in the zone for ball 1.
Coming into the game, the Mariners hitting .274 with runners in scoring position. Hit a big home run in yesterday's game. Had a couple of hits, a double and then a home run out to right field. It proved to be the difference in the ball game. Mariners winning 4-3.
Little looper into right field, base hit. Here comes Seager. He pedals home, and Mike Zunino makes this a 4-0 Mariners lead.
And Mike Zunino again hitting the ball the other way. Really is a thought process for Mike and the way that he goes about his business. You take a look at the swing, inside out swing, jams him a little bit. And what's interesting is the pitch before that was a fastball. He fouled it straight back. And both Scott Service and Edgar Martinez, they say about Mike, when he's fouling the ball straight back, they don't worry about him. They think he's in a good place. It's when he swings and misses that mechanically maybe he's a little bit out of whack. So it certainly was the case right there.
Is that true for any hitter, though, or especially for Mike?
No, I think it's more so for Mike, that he's on time and that he's staying in the hitting area.
We began the game talking about Clevenger and this fantastic ability to throw the first pitch for a strike more times than not. He's got ball one to each of the first 4 hitters this inning.
I think, again, that goes to the Mariners making an adjustment, being more aggressive. So he knows that he has to make a quality strike. He just can't throw a pitch in the middle of the plate. And because of that, he's missing off the edges of the plate. Good fastball for Ben to handle right there when he's ahead in the count. A little bit late. Clevenger has pitched well against Toronto. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs in that outing.
That's the only time he's given up more than a run in a start until today. The 2-1. Foul ground, left field. Ramirez and Lindor almost colliding. They're all right, 2-2. Foul, still 2-2. Who's got your vote, Mike?
You're the expert.
I appreciate you saying that.
Thought you might.
I'm going to go with Gamble, of course. That's as good of a main as there is in the game. I'll tell you what, the hecklers here, they've got a lot to live up to with Chicago. That was big league heckling at its finest.
Relentless.
Smaller crowds made them more audible than in other ballparks. Full count.
Better at bat for Ben. Fouling some tough pitches off. Should be the 7th pitch coming up in this at bat. 62 total now for Clevenger. Healy with a base hit his first time up. Scored the first run.
You got things going in the 3rd. Strike 3 call. Right on the edge. That's out number 2. I'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next tomorrow. Game 2 of this 4-game series. Erasmo Ramirez making start number 2, going up against one of the very best in the business. We saw Corey Kluber on opening day. The Mariners were able to squeak out a win against him, facing the King. Kluber sub-2 earned run average. Opponents hitting barely 170 against him. Start number 6.
That was a 2-1 ball game. Well pitched on both sides.
In steps Healy with 2 outs. Bullpen already beginning to stir a little bit. Just called up today. Jeff Beliveau getting ready to make his Indians debut. Pitched last year with the Blue Jays. He took over the roster spot of Andrew Miller when he was placed on the DL.
Ryan hit a fastball back up the middle his first time up. First pitch. A couple of breaking balls in this at bat. The last one was borderline, probably off the plate.
Now, he was the first of that 4-batter sequence that saw 7 pitches in total.
And 4 hits. One of the things when you're hitting towards the bottom of the lineup, you get an opportunity, although you haven't stood in the batter's box yet, but you get to see kind of what's going on, and the other guys coming back to the dugout and giving you a scouting report. I think there's an advantage there.
And well below his season average for first pitch strikes for Clevenger today. Two outs, Zunino at first base, an RBI single. The 2-2. Strike three called. Healy knew it. Gets him with the heater. That's 4 strikeouts through 4 innings. But the Mariners leading Clevenger, the Indians. Well, the Mariners celebrate Little League Day on Sunday, May 6th, when they host the Angels at 1:10. Thanks to Aquafina, all boys and girls 14 and under will receive an LED Boom Time watch inspired by the Mariners baseball crushing cleanup hitter Nelson Cruz. Tickets at mariners.com. We regret to inform you that it is not as big as Nelson's actual watch, which is about the size of an alarm clock. Now he's very punctual. There's Brantley to begin the Indians' 4th inning.
For James, 54 pitches, 36 strikes.
There's a curveball.
He's got service. Was talking about that at the start of the game or before the game today. Wanted to see James use the curveball a little bit more early in the count.
That did not take long. Another curveball to finish him off. Strikeout number 6 for Paxton.
At 0-2, wants to bury the curveball in the dirt. Good play by Mike.
For Paxton now, half of his strikeouts have needed only 3 pitches. One out for Yan Gomes.
It is interesting, Aaron. You were talking about it. It was in the 1st or 2nd inning with James and what left-handers have been able to do against him. And you mentioned small sample size. James has given up 2 hits today, both of them from lefties. He's faced 15 batters, 11 first pitch strikes. Big key for him. And now he has some run support to go with it. And a really good fastball. He's been 95 to 97 with his fastball.
Sock to center. Gordon straight back. Cocking his neck over his head. Gomes makes his way to second base. It's a 1-out double.
And that looked like it was the curveball. Ends up in the middle of the plate. See Mike set up, he wants it down. If he sets up in the middle of the plate on an off-speed pitch, then he wants it down out of the strike zone, but James missed his spot. Alonso with a base hit into left field his first time up.
It was Alonso, game 2 of the season, that hit the grand slam off of James Paxton. Cano, who started deep, picks it out of the outfield grass for out number 2. Gomes into third. Be sure to stick around after the game for Mariners post game. As always, presented by Alaska Airlines. Good chance to hear from James after what is today start number 6 for James Paxton. Pitching very well, working with a 4-run lead, now facing Brandon Guyer. Ruled ball 1. The very famous John Adams, way above the left field wall.
Some close pitches that have not gone James' way here in this inning. Just missed the inside corner. There was a pitch at the top of the zone he didn't get the call on.
Now full count. The 3-2. Line left field and hooking.
He was able to pull a pretty good fastball at 97 miles an hour. It looked like it was probably belt high out over the plate.
Time call. Another 3-2. They appealed. He does not go. Third walk for Paxton and the second to Guyer. Now to bring up Rajay Davis.
You look at his pitch count. It's high again. Pitching here in the 4th. Mentioned the foul balls in his last outing. There were a lot of them, but the walks also hurt your pitch count, as you mentioned, Aaron. That's his 3rd walk here in the ball game. His first outing against Cleveland, he had 4 walks.
Strike 1 to Davis. Now, 2 starts ago against the Astros at home, he was able to go 6 innings while still walking 3. The walk total a little bit higher than James would like, no doubt. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Ahead 0-2.
He's had a good fastball in this inning. consistently 97.
Paxton's 0-2. Check. He goes. Davis strikes out. That's strikeout number 7 for Paxton through 4 scoreless. All Mariners so far as we open up the 5th. Take a look now at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. We'll take you back to this day, 1961. In his 11th game of the season, Roger Maris, it's his first homer of the year. Of course, that would be the MVP season, one of 2 for Maris. His 61 homer season. One point would homer in 6 consecutive games. Twice he homered in 4 straight games. First pitch strike to Dean Gordon.
D with the triple his last time up, drove in the first run. Healy scoring from first base. Triple to left center.
Throwing a bunt this time. Gomes with the bare hand in time. There's that number 1. One out for Segura. That triple, by the way, Mike, per StatCast, the fastest triple in baseball so far this year, and the fastest in Mariners StatCast era history.
Is that right?
10.86 seconds, about the time that it takes us to walk from the door down the hall to the elevator. We don't cover quite as much ground. This is out to Lindor. Couple ground ball outs. I did like how D managed to still clock the fastest triple while kicking his helmet on his way to third base.
I was going to say we should get you on the field tomorrow and time you from home to third, but that probably would not be a good idea. We have enough injuries on the broadcast.
All right, we don't. There's no margin for error right now. And steps Robbie, an RBI single back in the 3rd. Robbie on the first, a crack out to left field. Big wall coming up. Robbie just over the line.
Now
that is a home run. Career home run number 100 for Robinson Cano in a Mariners uniform. It extends the lead to 5-0.
Again, being aggressive at the plate. This is on the first pitch. It's middle of the plate above the belt. is not easy for a left-hander to go opposite field here with that high wall out in left field. For Cano, his 3rd home run of the year. Just cleared the line. They're going to take a look at it. Looks like it maybe hit that bench in the stands that was just past the line. They have a railing up top too, above the line. They'll take a look.
Only the 2nd home run Clevenger has allowed this year.
I think it hits the railing behind it.
Yep. You can actually see the ball disappear.
Yeah.
Couple of RBIs today for Cano. Mike, you think about for Cano his 100th home run as a Mariner. You know, we don't see deals given out to players anymore like what the Mariners gave Robinson Cano. That was kind of the last of its kind. They called it a double. Now, how is that right?
Originally ruled a home run, and from what we could see, it hit the railing. And I'm sure that Scott is aware of that now, and he's wondering, how do you get it wrong? Another look at it. Looks like it goes past the line. It almost disappears. Hits the railing.
I mean, that's a home run.
That's a home run. That should be a home run. Scott not happy about it. I don't blame him. The other part about it is you could tell, for those of you that don't know, on that wall there's a padding that goes along there, even at the top. And if the ball was going to hit that yellow line and bounce back into play, it wouldn't ricochet at the rate that we just saw it when it hits. So it hit the railing behind it. I have no doubt about that. That's a big run. There's the railing.
We could see the ball disappear behind the yellow, hit the base of the railing, and pop back out.
And then again, to watch the way it ricocheted back. Obviously, it's an important home run for Robinson Cano, and it's a big run for the Mariners in a tough series.
Two and 0 to Cruz.
This is close here. This might be a better look. Right under the tee of Network.
Well, from that angle, it does not disappear. Two and 1. Do we need to pick up the phone and call New York and apologize in between innings? Is that what's this coming down to? Two outs, Cano at second.
Couple of sliders off the outside corner.
Cruz strikes out to end the top of the 5th. Double instead of a homer. Cano stranded at second. Mariners lead at 4-0. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, just visit steeldealers.com. Well, the Mariners take a 4-0 lead with them into the bottom of the 5th. Tonight, game 1 of this 4-game series. Cano turns out to be a double, not a home run as originally ruled. So 4-0 instead of 5-0 as Paxton back up on the mound. Go back to the Ford Sports Desk and bring in Bill Kruger. Bill, what have you made so far through 4 innings of Paxton tonight?
Bill, we were talking about it earlier with Pax and against left-handers. Last year, lefties hitting under 200. That hasn't been the case. And is it just exactly what Scott said today? Maybe the sample size is still too small. Or are you seeing something there with the lefties?
Now, Bill, interested to get your take. We've talked about Paxton's slider or cutter, depending on what you want to call it, and how much more he's using it this year, twice as much more. It's been a tremendous pitch. What do you like about that pitch in particular? Bill, as always, we appreciate your insights. We'll catch up with you more on Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. Is now back-to-back strikeouts to open the 5th. 9 strikeouts for James. First pitch strike to Ramirez.
And that looked like the curveball that Bill was talking about.
Wasted no time ahead, 0-2.
81 pitches, 55 strikes.
And play out to Haniger in front of the track, on his heels to make the catch. Very quick bottom of the 5th as Paxton faces the minimum for the first time. Seeing Kyle Seager, Mitch Haniger, and Mike Zunino here in the 6th inning. Well, members from all branches of our nation's military received a special 10% discount off select seats at all games this season. Simply show a valid military ID at the Safeco Field box office to secure your savings. The special offer is brought to you by EQC. Five strikeouts through 5 innings for Clevenger, but the Mariners have gotten to him for 4 runs. Shift on for Seager, and he's able to get it past Kipnis into right field.
A couple of base hits for Kyle, 2 for 3. Also scored a run. Highlighted Kyle. Feels pretty good at Progressive Field. Career 360 hitter. They have the shift on, but he hits it through it. Starting to heat up.
That brings up Haniger.
And Mitch has had to deal with the breaking ball from Clevenger. Primarily the curveball. Was hitting 182 off of his curveball at the start of today. It's 158 on the slider.
Looks at a curve in the dirt, 1-1. Lindor to Kipnis out of first base for the double play. Punch away that leadoff single. That'll bring up Zunino.
Mike had a base hit into right field. He's 1 for 2. Picked up an RBI.
Dan Otero getting loose, the right-hander. And on the hands for strike 1. Flattens out to Ramirez at third base to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Mariners leading the Indians here in game 1, 4-0. Folks at home got up to answer the front door. They would have missed these 4 hits.
Yes, Mariners being aggressive. Back in the 3rd inning, Ryan Healy welcome back with a base hit. D. Gordon with the fastest triple in Mariner history to drive in the first run. Segura on a first pitch also. That's a double down into the corner. He'll pick up an RBI. Then Robinson Cano, a base hit going the other way to drive in Segura. Happened quickly. 7 pitches, 4 base hits.
Gets ahead of Encarnacion with a curveball, the 0-1. Up to Haniger once again. 2 pitches and 1 out.
Last inning, when it was 2 innings ago when the Mariners were in the dugout, their turn to hit. He had a shot of Mike Zunino, Mel Stottlemyre sitting next to him, and you could tell that they were going over a lot of different things in the game. I love seeing that because Pax's got enough on his mind. He's doing this thing that might control that part of the game.
Up the middle into center.
Brantley's hit the ball hard a couple of times. His first base hit. For Brantley, quality hitter. Came into the game hitting .315 overall. Inside out swing. So he hits the line drive back up the middle. Also lined out to the left fielder, Ben Gamble.
In other words, Mike, talk that game plan over with Zunino.
Yeah, talk it over with Mike, and then if they need to make some changes, let Mike go ahead and worry about that and calling the game as far as you just mentioned it with the curveball and then the fastball after that to get the lazy fly ball out on the first hitter. And that's something that they wanted to see a little bit more of. I think also one of those situations where Mike maybe likes one pitch better than the other, and he's going to let Mel know that. So if it looks as or appears that they're getting away from the game plan, there's a reason for it. A lot of things are going on in there. Mel is a great communicator.
0-2. The 0-2 to Gomes. Back to the glove of Zunino. And for the 2nd time this year, James Paxton has tied a career best, his 10th strikeout tonight.
And this is just a good fastball, 96. You see the high target. James able to hit it. It's in the middle of the plate, but elevated at 96. And a late swing. Working ahead, strike 1. Big difference for James tonight.
Swinging strike 1 to Alonso.
Starts in with a slider. Looks in to chase it.
Evens up. Alonso not pleased with that call. 1-2.
James has thrown 91 pitches, and that last one was 97 miles an hour.
The 1-2.
And he comes back with a slider. That is something as the season moves on. I think it was going to be a separator. It has the possibility to be a separator for James Paxton and a lot of other starters, is that he never seems to lose any of his stuff. We've seen him at 100, 105 and still throwing 97 miles an hour, and listening to him after the game saying he felt good. I think there are going to be times this year where Scott Service is going to let him go a little bit deeper, maybe in that 110, 115 range, possibly 120. I think he can handle it.
Alonso lays off his slider. 2-2. Now, there's never been diminished velocity, even since day 1 for James.
Yeah. It's always been that way.
Paxton's 2-2. Just off the plate at 98. Shift is on for Alonso.
94 pitches, 65 strikes. A lot of strikes today. It's good to see.
Paxton's payoff. Just foul up the line. Now this would be the third straight game that Scott has had his starting pitcher go 6 innings.
Helps the bullpen out. That's something that he was talking about a few days ago, that he needed to see some of that, and that's what he's getting.
Paxton's 3-2. Pesky at bat here by Alonso. Next pitch will be number 9, as that pitch was at 98.
Back-to-back 98-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Alonso taking some time to dig in. Another 3-2. Crush to right field. Haniger getting ready to leap. A jump, and it's gone. Second home run this year for Alonso off of Paxton, and it brings the Indians within 2.
And that was another 98-mile-an-hour fastball. 9 pitches in the at-bat. James was challenging him the entire time. Once ended up getting the count to full. Towering fly ball. I thought Mitch maybe had a chance, but just out of his reach.
Geyer looks at a first pitch curve strike. Paxton's 100th pitch on the night. Lined out to left. Gamble puts down the brakes to haul it in. And that wraps up 6 innings. Through 6, Mariners still hold the lead 4-2. Nicely done, Ange.
That's nice.
This is Gamble leading up the 7th for the Mariners. Now hearing Angie drop Hawaii right there a moment ago. It does remind me of a recent conversation I had with somebody, Mike, and that was, when was the last time we were warm? Maybe just for a few innings in Texas. Spring training before that?
Spring training, I think, was it.
I understand it's nice and warm back home today.
Yeah.
It has been for a while, so happy for everybody back there.
That's great weather.
4-pitch walk to Gamble to lead things off in the 7th. First time he's been on base. There comes Tito. 4-pitch walk is all it takes. Clevenger done. He goes 6+. We've got a pitching change. Tonight, all about James Paxton. Ties the career best for the 2nd time this year. Mike, 10 strikeouts.
Now the rotation starting to get on a bit of a roll for James. 10 strikeouts. Topped out at 98 miles an hour. Good curveball and slider to go with it. A lot of swings and misses. Was working ahead the entire game. Excellent job on first pitch strikes. You see another breaking ball in the dirt for James. So the starters starting to pitch well. Elevated fastball at 98 miles an hour to get that last strikeout. He really looked good today.
Good stuff from Paxton as we play here in the top of the 7th. Pitching change after the leadoff walk to Ben Gamble. Dan Otero in now to work for the Indians. He faces Ryan Healy.
Fastball, slider, changeup. His average fastball at 90 miles an hour. Nick Vincent getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. You look at the numbers for Otero. 11 strikeouts and 8 2/3. Just one walk.
He takes over for Clevenger. Mike Clevenger, who had made 4 starts entering today, had a 1.75 earned run average. So with that in mind, pretty nice to see 4 runs against him.
Well, again, the Mariners being aggressive, especially the 2nd time through. 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. Just the one walk. He had 5 strikeouts, 88 pitches overall. 59 of those for strikes.
Count goes to 1-2 on Healy as they keep an eye on Gamble. Healy fouls it off, stays put 2-2. And by the way, an update from Chicago, some continued good news for Danny Farquhar, suffered the brain hemorrhage. As Rick Renteria reporting today that Danny continues to show signs of progress, was even taken for a couple of short walks in the intensive care unit today with his wife Lexi. So very encouraging stuff there. As Healy bounces to this double play. Around the horn they go, wipes away the leadoff walk. Here comes D. Gordon.
Fourth plate appearance for D. What was the time on the triple? 10.7 seconds.
If you round up, Mike. Actually 10.86.
10.86. Okay.
Fastest this year in baseball and the fastest in the StatCast era for the Mariners, which dates back to 2015. Lindor charges, cut of the grass. Able to get D. Gordon to end the inning. It's time to stretch here in Cleveland. Mariners lead it by 2. To the ball game, take me out to play Washington's lottery. Sunny day here in Cleveland as we begin this 4-game series. Mariners and the Indians. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Mariners leading the Tribe 4-2. James Paxton. Night is done exactly 100 pitches and he ties a career best with 10 strikeouts.
Really threw the ball well. 6 innings, 5 hits, couple of runs. They were earned. 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, 100 pitches, 70 of those were strikes. Unfortunate that he gave up the late home run.
That leads us to our Beacon Plumbing call to the pen as we say hello to Nick Vincent up on the mound.
And for Nick, fastball, cutter, slider. His fastball right around 90. The cutter will be 87. This will be his 12th appearance on the year. 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 9 innings that he has pitched.
He faces 9-1-2. It begins with Rajai Davis. In play. Segura's had a pretty quiet night defensively. Good stretch by Healy. And there's out number 1.
Well done all the way around. Cut fastball. Moving to the outside corner. Gets him to roll over on it. Segura with a strong throwing arm. And then the stretch by Healy at first. People are going to like watching Healy play defense. Started last year at third base and was moved over to first base. Everything that we've seen from him, does a nice job at first defensively.
First pitch to Lindor. A little higher this time, 1-1.
A couple of cutters missing up out of the strike zone.
It's that one on the edge, 2-2. That got him.
Hit him with a cut fastball.
That brings the tying run to the plate. Well, don't miss the star-studded weekend series May 4th through the 6th at Safeco Field, featuring Robinson Cano, Deke Gordon, and the Mariners taking on Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and the Angels. Log on to Mariners.com. Punch your ticket today. Looks like as the rotations line up, we could be seeing Ohtani on Sunday at Safeco. We've got a pitching change. Left-handed bat Jason Kipnis due up. 1 out, 1 on. One on to the bottom of the 7th. Mariners holding on to a 4-2 lead. Scott Service goes to his bullpen. I'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. Tomorrow, our coverage begins at 3:30. Different start times, all 4 games here in Cleveland. Erasmo Ramirez making his second start since coming off the disabled list, going up against one of the best in the business, Cy Young Award winner Corey Kluber. The different start times on Saturday and Sunday as well. We'll be seeing Mike Leake versus Carlos Carrasco. Off to a dynamite start. Marco Gonzalez, who's on a bit of a roll right now, going against Tomlin in Game 4. Take a look at Mark Zimchinski.
Sinking fastball, 92 miles an hour. Slider to go along with it. Jason Kipnis, number 2 hitter in the lineup for Cleveland, walking to the plate. This will be his 10th appearance on the year. Just 4 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. Dan Altavilla getting loose in the pad.
And Mike, you mentioned it at the very top. The Indians, one of the game's leaders in terms of percentage of runs coming on the homers. So they've gotten their first 2 runs today. 2-run blast by Alonso. An appeal. He goes. 0-2.
That'll be the key for the rest of this series. Again, a 4-game series is to try to keep them in the ballpark. The other key is to try to have a lead late, which the Mariners were able to accomplish today against a very good pitcher in Clevenger.
There goes Lindor. Throw to second. Tag. Not in time. Meanwhile, count goes to 1-2.
One of the other things that Cleveland will do is as a team, they will run. Pretty good jump by Lindor. They are second in the American League as a team stealing bases. Clearly safe. Keeps his hand on the base.
That's his 5th. Gets away from Zunino. Lindor easily takes 3rd. Wild pitch.
Yeah, wild pitch. It's a 2-seam fastball. I think he spikes it. Yeah, just clears the plate.
The 2-2. Out to center. Gordon chugging after it. Can't get there. Lindor would have scored from anywhere. Kipnis in. He makes this a 1-run game as Kipnis stands up at second.
First hit with a runner in scoring position for the Indians. Well, this is going to end up right in the middle of the plate. He squares it up.
We've got a pitching change. Tying run in scoring position for the Indians. Mariners, Mike.
And he's really pitched well lately. 11 appearances on the year, a 3.18 ERA, 14 strikeouts in 11 and a third. Opponents hitting just 184 against Dan. His fastball mid to upper 90s with a hard slider. And Aaron, I guess after the way things went at home to start the season, shouldn't be surprised that this is a one-run ball game.
Now more the same when playing the Indians. Kipnis has brought the Tribe within one. He's now the tying run at second. Very dangerous bat. Jose Ramirez at the plate. Way outside, out of Zunino's glove. Kipnis to third.
It's going to be a fastball. Set up inside, and that's really not that close. Hits off the heel of Mike's glove as he stands up to make the catch. One out, that's a big play. Mariners have to bring their infield in now.
Second wild pitch by the Mariners this inning. Check down to third. It does not go. Two and one.
Good fastball, 98 miles an hour on the outside corner. Ramirez, a switch hitter, not much difference left right. A little more power hitting left-handed.
All but one of his home runs this year. Altavilla behind 3-1. You don't like looking at that guy on deck, Edwin Encarnacion. Full count. Swings out of his shoes on a slider.
Right on the outside corner, 87 miles an hour.
The 3-2. Check swing. He goes.
That's a big strikeout. After the wild pitch to get the strikeout, make it 2 outs. Now you can push your infield back, give them a little more range. It's to chase the slider down out of the strike zone. Mike calling right away.
Does not get any easier. Go ahead run Encarnacion at the plate. Going after the first pitch to the gap. Haniger on a bounce. Encarnacion has tied this game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
And trying to get ahead. First pitch fastball above the belt. He is able to get on top of it. At 98, that's not an easy thing to do, but he hits the line drive into right center field just out of the reach of Haniger.
In steps Michael Brantley. Slider, strike one. Gordon angling back, flags it down for out number 3. Couple of runs crossed for the Indians. Encarnacion has tied it up. We go to the 8th. Cleveland as we move to the top of the 8th inning. A 2-run 6th, a 2-run 7th for the Tribe. All tied at 4. Pete Segura will lead things off for the Mariners here in the 8th. Looking at the first pitch, missing just barely for ball 1. Dan Otero still out there for the Indians.
And Aaron looking on deck. How big is that reversal for Cano?
You're right.
What was called a home run, it looked like it was a home run, and then they changed it back to a double, and he ended up being stranded at second base. It's a huge play now.
Kipnis out number 1. Let's go back to that. It was in the 5th, last time up for Robbie. Originally ruled a homer, and you might be able to see why.
And I think that's the key to this play. It looks as if it hits the railing. They said it ended up changing it because they said it hit the yellow line. I'm not sure that we were able to see anything, and Scott came out and argued after.
Yeah, I'm still not totally buying that one. We got a pitch and change. 1 out, nobody on in the 8th. Sports is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BNSF, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. By Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. And by Jack in the Box, try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. We are tied with 1 out in the 8th. Game 1 of this 4-game series from Progressive Field. Normally we would be seeing Andrew Miller. Miller placed on the disabled list today after injuring his hamstring last night. Jeff Beliveau making his Indians debut, pitching the big leagues last year with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, there's no question we would be seeing Miller. I think this is going to be one hitter for him. Cano standing in, and Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. Nick Goody, the right-hander, getting loose in the pen for Cleveland.
The 0-1. Just foul. Robbie, an RBI single back in the 3rd. A double that was originally ruled a homer in the 5th. And one thing that we have seen on this road trip for the Mariners, especially in Texas, runs coming late against opposing bullpens.
Juan Nicasio getting loose for the Mariners.
Robbie caught looking. 2 outs.
He was looking for the slider. Thought he would come back with it. Pretty good fastball in the outside corner at the knees, and Terry Francona quickly out of the dugout.
Goody warming up. Got a pitching change. Putting Bruce Bochy's helmet back in the mind. That's the helmet of Nacho's hour. This is about enough to feed a whole section. Cheese out of a bag. Nothing much better than that late night.
I'm hoping you would share.
Yeah, this is coming to the booth. Dig into that during commercial breaks. Is there?
How heavy is it? We're getting some weight.
Well, it's one hand by this guy. It's pretty impressive. You know, they're going to go salsa, and I think they're going to go jalapenos.
Why stop now?
Nope. Nah, sour cream later. Here we go. Here are the jalapenos. Wow. When in Rome.
Nick Goody is going to take over. Fastball slider. Fastball right around 91 miles an hour, and to a right-handed hitter, it's about a 50-50 fastball slider percentage. Throws a slider a lot to the righties. His 9th appearance. Has pitched well so far.
His first pitch to Cruz. Swinging strike 1
on the slider.
Fastball strike 0-2. Francona mixing and matching here in the 8th inning. Otero, Beliveau, now Goody. Goody facing the go-ahead run. Evens up 2-2.
Again, when Cleveland was in Seattle, Mariners ended up winning 2 out of 3, but all one-run ball games. With the pitching matchups and the way the bullpens from both sides have been able to pitch, felt like it was going to be the same, and here we are.
Crushed out to left field. Nelson Cruz going back deep and off the wall. He'll settle for a double. Now we can definitively say that that was not a home run.
Maybe a little bit too far off the end of the bat. Set up away. Take a look at it. Actually ended up off the label a little bit. Nelson's so strong. Going to have a pinch runner.
Ichiro running for Nelly at second.
Take a look at Brantley in left field as he goes up on the wall just out of his reach. Kyle with a couple of hits give him a chance to drive in a run.
Strike one.
Opens up the right side of the infield a little bit with Kyle hitting. Typically they'll have the shift on, but with Ichiro at second base, Lindor the shortstop having to play behind him. It's a bigger hole for Kyle. Mariners are 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. Came into the game hitting .274 as a team, runners in scoring position.
We don't normally talk hang time on doubles, but for Nelson,
yeah,
5.7 seconds.
Yeah. Just missed it. Towering fly ball.
Cracked out to the gap in left center field. This is back by the high wall and just barely stays in the yard. Ichiro crosses home plate. Kyle Seager has given the Mariners the lead in the 8th inning. It's 5-4.
So back-to-back doubles. Kyle, we mentioned it, having a good night. He's been trending in this direction. The swing of the bat much better over the last 4 or 5 days. His 7th double on the season and showing a lot of power going the other way. This is right off the top of the wall. He just missed hitting this out into left center field. Again, the high wall out in left center. Not an easy thing for a left-hander to go opposite field, but he almost hits it out. Going to put Haniger on. Well, after Mike Zunino, Mike with a base hit. He drove in a run earlier in the game. Mike had the big home run in yesterday's game. Turned out to be the difference. Mariners winning 4-3. Mike hitting a home run out to right field.
If this wall was 6 inches shorter, the Mariners would have 2 more runs on the board right now.
Commanding lead.
2 outs, 2 on for Zunino.
Yeah, good swing at that. It's a slider. They wanted to go to the outside corner. But he able to get away with a mistake.
And we mentioned no Andrew Miller for the Indians. They're feeling.
We thought that was going to be a real key for the Mariners over the course of these 4 games, and it's already shown up here tonight.
Four for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. The 1-1. 1-2. Pops him up. Lindor wants it. Shortstop has it. The Mariners strand 2, but Kyle Seager has given the Mariners the lead. A double high off the wall. It's 5-4. All right, thank you. Juan Nicasio up on the mound working for the 3rd straight day.
He's really pitched well lately, and you can take a look at his pitch count in the last 7 days.
Grayson Gomes, the catcher who doubled earlier, has also struck out twice.
For Nicasio, fastball 92 to 95 miles an hour and a slider. Last couple of days that he's been out there, we've seen his velocity jump up a couple of miles an hour. He's been 94, 96, which is great to see. There's the first pitch, slider to Gomes.
Off the plate, 1-1.
Mariners have the shift on. Gomes hitting. You can see Cano over on the left side of the infield.
Right at the knees. Zach McAllister getting loose for the Indians.
Haniger normal depth in right, but D. Gordon, Gamble both in front of the warning track in the outfield, trying to stay away from the double.
Nicasio's 1-2. Weak ground ball. Seager, a whip by to first. What a stretch by Healy. There's out number 1.
We've seen that a couple of times in tonight's ball game by Ryan Healy, as Kyle going to his left gets rid of it quickly. An accurate throw, so Ryan can really help him out, and he does.
I'm looking forward to our Mariners All Access Pilates episode with Healy at first base. It's impressive stuff. Left-handed bat of Alonso, the 2-run homer in the 6th. He goes after the first pitch. Gambled in towards the corner. 2 outs. Download the app, play for free, and start your streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak, presented by Major League Baseball today.
Naquin going to pinch hit.
Two left-handed bats on the bench for Terry Francona.
We'll hit for Geyer.
Ball 1.
Bradley Zimmer on deck.
And there is the other left-handed bat. Ruled in Acasio's favor. 1 ball and 1 strike. For 2 years running, the Mariners are right there at the top of 1-run games played in the majors. We asked Scott the other day if he felt like the way this team was put together, if it was any different. And ever since that conversation, it's been a lot of 1-run games.
It has been.
He does think, though, that this is the best lineup, of course, that he has been able to pencil in day out. And with that, he feels like there might be a tendency for fewer of those games, but they're still around.
Their last 2 wins in Chicago, 1-run games.
The 1-2. Swings right through it. Good fastball from Nicasio, who retires the Indians in order in the 8th. Get home field advantage on Silver Bullet Saturdays. Download the Coors Light XP Rewards app and start earning points towards rewards like Mariners tickets and Coors Light beer while supplies last. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Mariners got the lead on Seager's double. Some changes defensively for the Indians. Bradley Zimmer has taken over in center field. He can cover a ton of ground. Tyler Naquin, who pinch hit, is now in right field for the Indians. Eight, 9-1 due up for the Mariners. It begins with Ben Gamble facing a new pitcher, right-handed Zach McAllister up on the hill.
Good fastball at 94, 95 miles an hour. Curveball, occasional split with it. Primarily fastball, curveball.
Smoke to center, finds a new guy. Zimmer able to get there, keeping his feet. Now number 1. Here comes Ryan Healy. This has been a good game for Healy, his first game back off the DL.
Picked up a base hit his first time up. 1 for 3 tonight. Played well in the field. Edwin Diaz getting loose out in the pen. Edwin picking up the save in each of the last 2 games in Chicago. The good news is he was efficient doing it. 31 total pitches over the 2 games. So he's going to give it a go.
First pitch strike to Healy. The opposite way. Now to Naquin in front of the track. 2 down. Well, fans, our annual Ultimate Fan Contest has officially returned. Today's the last day. Root Sports will be looking for the ultimate fan of the state of Oregon throughout the month of April. Send us a photo and story on our website at rootsports.com/ultimate-fan, and you could win a VIP trip for 2 to Seattle in September, a personalized jersey, and much more. To find out official rules, just visit rootsports.com. The showing bunt, looking at a strike.
Tried to bunt for a hit in the 5th inning. Gomes was able to make the play. Came out from behind home plate. Threw him out by about a half a step.
Kipnis to a knee. Has to hurry. He does. And the side retired in order. Edwin Diaz looking to lock down save number 11 to continue to pace the majors. We're coming right back. Climbs them out here in the 9th inning. You can see what he's done so far this year.
10 for 10 in save opportunities. ERA 0.73 ERA. 23 strikeouts and 12 1/3. And look at that opponent's batting average. Fastball mid to upper 90s and a hard slider.
How about this? Fewest innings to 200 career strikeouts. Edwin Diaz in the top 5. all time. 130 innings. Kimbrel the fastest. You're looking at some of the elite of the elite. Jansen, Chapman, Betances. He is right there with them. A recent milestone for the young man out of Puerto Rico. And here's what he's done lately, Mike.
Yeah, his pitch count's something that we were talking about and wondering. See what he did Friday and Saturday, but really it was the last couple of days, Tuesday and Wednesday, a total of 31 pitches over the 2 days, and it was a day game yesterday, so a little bit of extra rest for him. I know that's something that Scott Service has talked about with Edwin, especially this year, that he's not afraid to run him out there 3 days in a row. So here you go.
Zimmer off the bench. He is behind 2-0.
Velocity on the fastball at 96. He will touch 100.
Two and one. Slicing foul. Evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seager gave the Mariners the lead in the 8th. Diaz on here to finish off the win in the 9th. It's 2-2. Strike 3 called right at the knees at 98.
Well, Zimmer thought it was down. He probably has an argument. It was right in the middle of the plate. We'll take a look at it.
Gold Star Mike Zunino.
Yeah, thank you, Mike Zunino. Nicely done. Back to the top of the lineup.
There's Lindor.
A little extra velocity to his friend.
Both from Puerto Rico.
99 on that fastball.
'98. These two did not know each other quite as well as Edwin knew Jose Barrios growing up, or Carlos Correa of the Astros. Lindor moving to Florida when he was in high school. Slider misses to make it 3-0.
Good idea to stay on that outside corner. Lindor is quick inside.
Too far outside. Tying run is aboard.
Keep an eye on him at first base. He can run.
One back tonight already.
Kipnis, who has struggled this year, is walking to the plate, but had a good night so far. Been on base 3 times. He's 2 for 3 with a walk and a double, and drove in a run. He's also scored.
Strike 1.
Pitching 3 days in a row has not affected his fastball. He has been 96 to 99 miles an hour. That last one 98, right at the bottom of the zone.
Pops him up. Segura. Seager. Gamble. Gamble. Basket catch at the belt buckle. Big out number 2.
Great concentration. Ben had to run a long way. He knew there was a lot of traffic around him, calling everybody off as he should, but having to go to a knee with the basket catch, 2 hands. That's a good thing too. It looked as if Segura maybe overran it.
This is a tough final out, Jose Ramirez. Pitch out. Now behind 2-0. Ramirez with 7 home runs this year. On the ground, but foul. I'm touching 98. Two and two. Talk about some paint in 98.
Right on the inside corner at the knees.
Giving Ramirez something to think about. The 2-2.
Robbie's trying to call time.
The payoff.
They were trying to tell Ryan Healy to play behind the runner, but Healy didn't want to leave first base because Diaz had already was in the stretch, and he didn't want him to throw over to first without him there. Robbie started walking in trying to call timeout. They were not able to get his attention, and that's when they'll be able to set their defense now. And give Ryan Healy a little bit of an opportunity to make a play if he can, give him some range. So they're going to put him behind the runner. Lindor's going to take off.
Game. Diaz save number 11, and the Mariners win a squeaker here in Cleveland, 5-4.
Paxton was terrific today. Gave up the 2 runs. 10 strikeouts for James Paxton. Commanded the strike zone. A lot of first pitch strike. Diaz saved 3 in a row now for Edwin Diaz. In Chicago the last 2, and now today another 1-run game for the Mariners. D. Gordon, fastest triple StatCast era for the Mariners.
I like it, Mike. Nicely done. Well, Diaz leads the big leagues in saves once again. The Mariners another 1-run win as they take the first of 4 here in Cleveland, 5-4. Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines starts right now. Bill, Angie, it's all yours.